then it still didn't work out very well for them.
I think your team's the only one.
Let's go.
Well,
The purple boy.
still has some illusions when that wall comes up.
Yeah, they're going more
No
team fight.
dazzle this time.
I guess they recognize what Spirit are looking to do, which is take a lot of objectives.
Oh,
Towers,
it's Monet.
Roshan with THN, and they're like,
Monet
okay, we need to be able to contest
Boba
this.
Tiny.
So
Yeah.
what better way to do that than
thought they
just
were
pick
swapping
overwhelming team fight? You're looking at Puck,
the
Snapfire,
Razor lane.
Darkseer, you've got the Wukong ring. Like, there's no way Spirit can really team fight in that without having BKBs and a farm advantage, because otherwise they're going to be forced into just like split pushing. What Spirit can do though is, you know, they've got TA, they've got sack farming, they can kind of out farm Aster a bit.
Are you sold with the Darkseer pick?
Not at all. Yeah, no, not at all. I mean, I get the idea that going for big team fight, but Darkseer's also not looked great in this tournament. It's a very kind of passive hero, doesn't have the best lane. I feel like Yutori should do just fine on TA against Darkseer.
Yep.
So
5
you're all in
seconds
agreement
remaining.
then on who you feel like is going to win this matchup? Oh, Jax.
Tea or Sprite?
I'm going Sprite.
Sprite? All right, I have to agree with that. I think they have options, and I think they're kind of going to run Aster over with this game before they can get to their scale.
I think Team
Well,
Aster.
I suppose
Oh,
we
I
will
see.
find
Got
out.
it.
We do have fun special as well here. We got Lyrical, Trent, and Gunner.
Thank you so much, Nikki. That's right. We've seen so many of these mid matchups. We had to bring in another mid player. Gunner, wonderful to have you here. Void Spirit versus Puck. I feel like you got some feelings about this.
Yeah, Void has like 30% win rate at this major. It's not good. They played it versus EG, and they got 2-0'd by EG in the group stage, so it's kind of rough.
Yeah, it's not so good, but there is still a reason why they're picking it, right? Maybe get that Yule Scepter, get up there, you catch the Puck, because we got to find a way to catch this hero, because he's been dominating a lot of games, obviously. As we continue into the bracket, it's still a very difficult hero to catch.
Totally. And of course, my heart, my love, my Darkseer about to get demolished, because every time I feel like I cast this hero, it just dies. But maybe some team fight stuff is there. What do you like in the draft, Gunner? Anything sticks out?
Void should be good.
Okay.
He has kind of squishy heroes. There's a Tiny that can wreck him with the coil, but if he gets online early and he keeps getting items, he's actually going to snowball.
And you know, Chen's there to save him in the back, right?
Yeah.
So we'll have a little bit of assistance there.
That's right. Well, getting ready to go into this game number 1, upper bracket semifinals. It's Team Aster facing off against Team Spirit, and we're already into it. Yadro playing on the TA that has also looked pretty freaking solid throughout a lot of these games. And Mira Rubik, that's something I feel like we've been wanting to see a lot, and finally we're getting some Rubik decks.
Yeah, I feel like Boom was really one of the things where we start seeing it, where they're going for it constantly as well, like the 5 and the 4, and I was like, oh, maybe where's some more Rubik? You know, I'd like to see it a little bit more, and we talked earlier about the Rubik versus the Tiny as well.
Right.
Very helpful.
Yeah, these 4 players, they love their Rubiks. I think every 4 kind of has a soft spot in their heart for Rubik, but all these offlaners, they want to play these Razors, the Vipers, these Death Prophets, these ranged offlaners, and they all just want these melee 4s. They want them to go in for them and you know, pull these lane creeps for me. They don't want to trade. They're going to do that by themselves. So
I saw that.
they kind of have an opportunity to pick it. It's a really good Rubik game. I think it's one of actually the better supports versus Puck. If you steal silence, it lasts really long. You catch the Puck with the more cast range as well.
Oh yeah.
It goes really far, and an instant stun is always just going to be good.
Yeah, you're getting so many benefits out of the extra range, just like obviously catching more heroes, but then potential survivability as well, and mobility, of course. Like that was one of the best things I remember from Root back in the day, of just like even just getting Anti-Mage Blink felt like such an incredible tool, you know?
Yeah, and some of the Rubiks go more for Aether Lens rather than the Blink that was like, you know, 2013, 2014, you rush the Blink to make all these plays, but getting this Aether Lens now with the cast range on your passive, it just turns some spells crazy. Like even the Avalanche, I think, is a really big spell that he can steal in this game. Puck Snap, even the Snap Q, if the Rubik gets a shard, is just crazy.
It's too much damage, and it's too easy to get up on top of him. Aster going to get 2 of those, while Team Spirit take the others. It does look like it's going to be that TA-Chen match up top. And we were kind of thinking a lot that this was going to be the Bobica Monkey King, but instead playing on the Tiny this time. And this aggro potential, once you get like to level 3 or something, could be pretty freaking scary for the TA.
Tiny's just a scary hero. Everyone cries. Carry players always cry about their lanes.
Okay.
It's very important for the lanes, and Toss is just the anti-carry spell. You want to go hit a creep, you get tossed back. You want to go hide in your tower, he's going to walk under your tower and toss you back because he doesn't care. And you just always have to be careful. We saw earlier in the series, the Magnus Tiny. He got skewered 2,000 range where he was standing, and he was under tower, and he just died.
I love this mid-player mentality of just like chilling mid with the water, and damn, my side lanes are just crying all the time. They're just like what's wrong with them? Why don't they just go get the water runes? I don't understand.
It's fair.
Don't worry, there's a lot of mid-player mentality that goes on. You know, the mid-player and the side laner difference. The mid-players, they're on their game.
Right.
They get water runes. If a hero comes mid, they get to complain. They're like, why is there 2 heroes here instead of just 1?
Well, so far down bottom, the other lane that we haven't talked about too much, Monkey King playing together with the snap. A lot of potential for aggression down there. You throw out some cookies, scatter blast. Mira, he needs to be on point, not getting caught out of position. But Monet, probably still to me one of the most aggressive of the carries out of this region, has looked pretty good throughout this tournament. And of course, both of these teams qualified for TI. Gonna try and see how far they can get in this one.
Yeah, so speaking of aggression, that's really good for this lane in this matchup. If the Monkey is not being aggressive, the Razor's going to just kind of zone him out, he'll sap his damage. But being aggressive and hitting the Razor gives you the damage to actually sustain in the lane. And you'll see that he's actually doing pretty okay. He has 3 denies versus Razor, which one of the, I don't know, strongest laner of the patch in the off lane. I rarely see this hero lose the lane. It gets first pick for a reason every single game or ban. And so it's, you know, hopefully the lane goes well. It's, I'm pretty surprised that it's going well so far.
Yeah, I feel like it can be kind of frightening too, because if you do decide to go for an aggro play with the cookie, then of course if they try and get a turn with the Link, you're not going to have an escape mechanism.
Yeah, it gets pretty scary there. Saw that Purge creep, one of the most annoying ones you can get against this Darkseer lane. So that's it. Ion Shell's gone, Surge gone.
The lane's over?
But there's no Oracle. I thought we were good.
Nah, that's pretty rough.
We've seen it versus the Bat, and now we're seeing it versus the Darkseer, huh? Oh, there he goes again. He's just purging those creeps.
Don't worry, the Tiny's gonna go pull the lane and get a little XP for himself. But I don't know, these Darkseer lanes are really scary. If this hero gets off, he gets Shard really good. Even the Blink Dagger, I see people just go Blink Shard as their first 2, as opposed to the good old mech days, support your team.
Right.
And it becomes really strong versus these really high damage heroes like TA, especially that he breaks Refraction the whole game. So TA, if he gets out of position versus Darkseer, will just end up dying.
It's actually ridiculous the amount of confidence this Purge creep is giving Babochka up top. He was just neck and neck next to XSS and Babochka, and he didn't even care. He's like, well, what are you gonna do? You know, you guys try and go some like double Ion Shell play on me. There's nothing you can do. I can just purge that thing, run away. You only have toss.
A Link now onto Monet down bottom. And the cookie will stop any extra pressure forward as Monet tries to count up to 4, but a little bit of that damage stolen means it's not the best trades in the world.
And in the mid, it's kind of even, which is pretty expected in this matchup. Both heroes have pressure on them. I think the Void Spirit has more pressure in the early game, but the biggest thing in these matchups are who gets level 6 first and who brings supports to their lane. So for the Spirit side, they have a Chen, and they're going to bring the Chen creeps mid on the Siege. If the Void is 6 before the Puck is 6, they're going to actually dive him. They're just going to press the steps on him, and he'll just die.
Yeah.
He's too far up.
That's been such a good key to these Chen drafts, is trying to get that pressure on the earliest catapult wave that you can. And it can sort of be with any hero, right? He's so good at enabling that.
It's almost like Enchantress when I think they buffed her a couple months ago. They would just bring a creep mid, and your tower just died to a single creep and a siege.
Those trolls are still way too good. Yeah, it's a real problem. Can see them pull this wave over as well. Team Spirit gonna have theirs underneath the tower, as still trying to get set up. I mean, do you think that there's any danger when the rotation does come? You know, the heroes left alone in the lanes, they just get sort of ganked, killed off?
I think Aster has kind of the advantage. Puck's kind of the king of being able to rotate to these side lanes, because he has Orb and Coil, so he pretty much has like about 2,000 range he can catch. So if you're way too close to the tower, you'll get TP'd on and die. If Puck's off the map for 10 seconds, he's going to Orb to your lane, you'll die. If you walk to Puck's lane, you might get coiled and die. There's a lot of things that will just kill you when you involve this hero.
Speaking of dying, down bottom, trying to get out of there, Siamese Cat, couple more punches, but he gets a little bit of separation, has another round spell, but they move in with the Plasma Field. Boundless Strike still on cooldown. Monet wanted to wait for that for the full heal, and now he's stuck underneath the tower. Mira's still chasing back towards mid. That rotation happens that you were talking about. Not quite level 6, but with the silence and a couple of tower shots, they'll force out the Dissimulate. Tokyo able to get some separation there.
So fortunately, that play actually means that he's kind of low in the Void Spirit, so there's probably not going to be a dive anytime soon, because the Puck is level 5. So this is the really scary part for Puck. This level 5 to the Void Spirit 6, but it looks like he's going to get 6. He'll get away scot-free, no pressure on him. Shen also has to walk away, so even though the actual play ended up not mattering, the whole map is coming.
I thought it was going to be good. Can he get out after? Toss up in the air. Tokyo forces him back. They decide to go in spite of the level 6 on Puck, and he missed his coil, so fair enough.
And now the question is, what happens to the water runes? Because Babochka, he's out of spells, so they can probably secure these for Tokyo.
Puck had to go home.
It's 6 minutes, Trent. It's a power rune. It's going to be a regen rune.
Of course, my bad.
That's the one. We've been seeing
Just getting excited. You know how I am about those 6 minute runes? 6 heroes mid. When there's not 6 heroes, I just assume it can't be 6 minutes yet. Simple logic.
There's 6 heroes mid for the water rune sometimes too. Depends on the game.
Vanguard done for the Darkseer now. And a couple more catches there. Maposhka, obviously nothing to break that TP. They get away. Still only 1 kill, 6.5 minutes in. Not that much death going on in these side lanes.
I'm not too surprised on the side. Neither team has too much kill threat. They're more of aggressive and keep you low so they can play in the lane, at least in terms of the bot lane. And top just ends up being a TA versus Darkseer, and both heroes are going to be happy if they get out of the lane. TA more so, because TA will walk to the tri-camp and get, you know, their Desolator and Blink Dagger and Dragonlance in 15 minutes. And the Darkseer is... Honestly, I'm sure this hero is happy if he's not getting crushed.
Yeah, I feel like you've exited the depression stage of just constant Banisher, so I think he'll take this at this point.
It's fair enough.
He is still blocking his camp with the Chen creep, though, which is very frustrating.
That's so annoying to play against. You see some good stacks going on in the jungle. There might be a chance to rotate in there and steal him away. We'll see as Ori does have that coil back up, ready to make a rotation if the opportunity presents itself, but again, less than 1,000 gold separating these two teams.
You have some great heroes for fighting in the jungle right now on both teams.
I think the next big play is this Tiny's going to try to bring her smoke and smoke the puck to the top. They want to kick this TA out, which is generally hard because of traps. But the good news is they have Darkseer to break all their factions, and then the Tiny and the puck will take care of the rest. I think they have to get out of their lanes at some point. Razor is going to start destroying this lane bot. The TA is already farming jungle and the lane. And the Void Spirit's going to try to make a move at some point, but he doesn't really have to. He's going to do the mid thing, stack his small camp, farm his small camp by clarities, and just keep farming out.
And if you don't hit that earlier timing, it's just gone so fast. Like, Yano just cleared through so many camps right now, and yet there's still more waiting for him when he goes and finishes up by the tower as well.
And even this this Chen hero, people don't think about it, but this Chen hero farms. If you give him space, he's going to take the creeps, he's going to take the jungle. He can even just farm aggressively. He doesn't have to be there. He can take a lane with creeps, and he'll get really farmed. And a farm Chen
quietly gets mech. You know, I feel like I just click him in a little bit. There's a mech there. The fights are hard.
Have you ever seen Holy Locket mech Chen? That gets really hard, really fast.
Especially you get it so early. It's like you have this limited amount of damage that you try and throw out. It's just not enough. But yeah, they have bought themselves some time, definitely. Darkseer is still sitting second in the net worth. That's pretty solid for him. As Collapse, do they want to head forward for it? Avalanche connects the cookie. Aster is actually safe, so they'll be able to throw it out. Second round, couple punches. Isn't enough to take down the Razor, though. Doesn't quite look like it. Monet has the jump forward, tried to go for the tree kill, but wasn't there. So Monet finds finish.
Yeah, but meanwhile, the mid lane had a telekinesis into an Aether Remnant kill onto the puck.
Yeah, these Spirit Supports have been playing around mid, specifically the Chen, and they just bring the Rubik. And again, this matchup's very much who brings the supports to mid, because both of the two mid laners kind of have pressure on the other. Void Spirit has way more aggressive pressure, because every ult is pretty much going to be a third of the puck's health. Yeah. And he has to just be really scared. This is one of the harder matchups for Puck when he gets behind.
Oh, I love this too. Giving Toronto Tokyo this big stack.
With the DD, that was very nice. Has the bottle to refill and going straight into the Aghanim Scepter. What do you think about rushing this item?
It's a pretty boss build.
It's a little scary.
It's like a better version of the Yules as long as you get there.
I don't like the Yules, personally.
Collapse. Gonna take some more damage as he TP'd back in. Wants to bring down Simon's Cat. Does get him. And maybe can bring down Boboka too. Collapse is very strong. Stolen damage, has another plasma field, throws it out, gets the Tiny double kill, pays with it for his life. And Mira giving the tip after feeling just a little jump in there.
Does he need a team?
I don't know, I don't think so.
He's fighting almost 4 people by himself and taking down 2 with him. And at the same time as Rubik's getting XP for level 6 top, the Chen's taking mid-wave with the Void Spear, and the T is just jungling it up.
And even getting the power rune here as well at 10, so just another key aspect here for every Spirit. And fully committing there with that point booster. So you were saying about the Yules though, this general idea of the counter pick was that like Void Spirit can do well versus the puck, you get the Aether, Remnant with the Yules net. We saw that a lot, right? I mean, I'm saying he's actually getting blasted in mid.
They use the coil, miss on the cookie, leash for a little bit longer, but they don't have the damage. So he gets away.
But what do you think are some of the problems with the Yules build?
The problem with the Yules is when it kind of forces you into a defensive position. Unless you start with every fight with Yules on the puck, he'll coil you and you Yule yourself, and then if there's any setup, which this game there's Avalanche, there's a snapshot eventually, he can vacuum you out of Yules. The Darkseer can with the new change. And you'll just get caught and you'll die. So I kind of like a more aggressive build personally, or HP rather, because the way you survive puck is you survive coil. You survive coil, then it doesn't matter. You'll get silenced, whatever. Coil is puck. Puck is coil. Same thing.
That was like, I don't know, some philosophy right there. Wait, Kisses keep it going. Silence, but Toronto Tokyo moves into Bobica, and they find him with the remnant. Well, Cat comes in, a couple more punches. Toronto Tokyo still surviving him. Aposhka in the area means that they will not bring down that Void Spirit. In fact, they might just find the kill on the Snapfire yet again. Double for Toronto Tokyo.
Yeah, Monet's here, but how much cleanup can he get? Trap even pop to hold him back.
That was well done.
It's starting to look really scary. The Void Spirit's getting off to a great start, and this hero you don't want to give a great start. Once he gets to an Ags, maybe a Kai. I've seen the E-Blade rush as well after Ags if they're really far ahead. He's going to start one-shotting heroes. Even this Monkey King, if he gets a BKB, if he gets to it before that point, he might have to pop it every single time Void Spirit shows.
And while we were seeing that whole fight up top, right before that, T was farming the jungle like crazy. Like there were the stacks were there from the Chen. As you can see, she's at 145 last hits right now. She's way up on the net worth and having a fantastic start.
Yeah, so even Razor's just kind of farming bot silently alone, and he's forcing, he forced the Monkey out of the lane, the Monkey had to go top, and they're going to play for this Desolator timing and play for Roche with the Chen.
Or he just barely gets away from that. Yeah, 2 components of this Ag's done for Toronto Tokyo, and it feels like if you get that space, get the freedom to get there, like Aster definitely going to be in a ton of
Like, what happens if any of them get silenced?
Yeah, and I mean, the other thing is, like, Mira constantly has this Ion Shell, so Toronto Tokyo now gets to play kind of with the Darkseer. Make up for that little bits of damage that you might not have, and just tries to run away with that lift range. Bobica found, pulled back in, gets obliterated, now stealing Avalanche. This Rubik is a sick pick.
That was keen optic right there. That's 75, that was max range. I can't believe he grabbed after tumblers.
Tries to jump away, Monet looking, the silence, the coil, it snaps. Collapse shows up though, hard to fight into a Razor with Toronto Tokyo nearby. Taunted, trying to get in, Monet dodges Mischief, it's not enough. They will lose 2 for nothing. Team Spirit just stomping on Aster.
They feel really bad that their lanes went that bad, that there's so much pressure. They know this TA's farming. Every time there's a carry farming, there's kind of like something in the back of your mind. You're like, oh, this TA's just farming jungle.
And they find her again, wall down, have the vacuum if they need it, pulls her back into the wall. Ion Shell, Yadaro, is this finally going to be the punish? They get one.
You can maybe take a little sigh, take a breath, but it's still really scary. They took that fight, they forced the fight on bot lane. The Snapfire's ult was cooldown for 10 seconds, but they couldn't feel like they could wait, and they just forced the fight. They got kind of wiped down there, and it's really scary.
But then all the high fives and fist bumps have they killed TA, right? Yeah, everything's fine. We got TA.
Yeah, so much gold. Everything's great.
Yeah, it's going to be okay.
See, Gunnar, in our casts, we're sort of consumers of copium here. You got to catch up with that one. It's much needed sometimes.
This Desolator is going to come pretty much. He might just sell items and buy it instantly when he spawns, and they might just instantly walk into Roche with Chen. He's going to have the mech on Chen as well really soon. The Void Spirit's approaching this Ags, and this teamfight ball is going to be really hard. The BKB on Razor too, they're kind of hitting up all their timings. It's going to hit this 15-16 minute mark, where Aster is probably not going to be able to fight. They're going to be really low damage, and unless they can find a single hero and kill one hero and get out of the fight, they're going to lose the fight.
Even with the greatest vacuum blink wall of all time.
That level 2 vacuum, man.
It's so big strong.
Maybe with the Sharp.
Okay.
Maybe.
Get himself a huge punch there, we'll see. But yeah, and the fact they've like stolen Avalanche as well there to help cover the pit is great for Mira.
Yeah, Aster's going to be trying to play this kind of split push game that pucks kind of end up doing when they lose, where they just push lanes out for 30 minutes straight, and they kind of delay the game until 30-40 minutes. Their carry eventually gets items. But I don't know if Spirit's going to allow that. This Chen pick is kind of the counter to that. He ends up deathballing at some point, gets this mech, and there's so much healing that you'll always need that extra item, and that extra item will never come.
But the stronger your enemies are, the stronger your wall illusions are.
That's,
so, you know?
You steal auras too.
More that's right. Get the aura.
Chen, you get these armor auras.
So much copium. Then they can get them.
Exactly.
It is certainly a tough situation though, and of course Spirit really wants to stamp on that soon here once they can get into that Roche bit, because it really does look fairly free for them at the moment.
This the coil will always be a threat for this Void Spirit. If he does get caught out, he will die in every coil to the Tiny and the Puck. That's the reason why these heroes get picked so much. They provide you a lot of damage, they provide you a lot of catch. Even vision with the orb turns out to be really crazy sometimes.
Yeah, and all it takes is the kisses too. I mean, that's one thing we say constantly about Snapfire. It's just like, there's probably not a better support right now in terms of just, we need to get back into this game, we need a smoke kill. If you have the control, she will provide the damage with the kisses.
Sometimes you just pop everything on a hero, and a lot of the teams this tournament have shown, even when they're behind, you get a pick or two. It's not going to look great at the time. You're going to think, oh, they only killed a support, or they only killed this core once. But the way that it ends up being the map, it gives them that little 500 gold here, a little 600 gold there. You get a little extra creep. And when you get these items, you can actually start winning these fights. And Aster is their team fight is really good.
Yeah.
If they get their items, their team fight's really good.
If LGD can do it, how hard can it be?
Yeah, you know, LGD's pretty good, so
That's fair.
they could be good too.
Yeah.
Next couple of minutes definitely going to be pivotal as these items are coming out, and it looks for the moment as if Team Spirit starting to group together a bit. Still a little ways away from that blink right here. Yadaro and Bobica has his being brought out, so even going to glyph that wave.
Void Spirit's Ags is on Courier. I think they're probably going to smoke with this. I don't know if they want to wait for this Rubik Ags. They'll probably let the Rubik farm mid to get his Ags, and they'll smoke behind him, kind of baiting him on mid, and they're going to try to look for a jump around rush. But
I think it is really important Bobica has this blink, though. That could be something they might not expect.
Ori spotted right at the start. The silence, that's the reveal. Not a better hero to find than that. As the puck will die and they make their move towards the mid lane. Tower very likely dead, and we'll see what else Team Spirit can get here.
they're probably just going to walk into Roche at the same time as Tower. Razor can't die with BKB. TA is just going to Roche instantly with the Chen. The map will start closing.
Jumping, looking for more. They can't quite catch XXS.
Kind of flush them all away from the pit, you know?
I mean, they're still in the area here. Aster, as if they want to contest this. Maybe a chance everybody grouped together. Bobica, XXS nearby. Collapse finds one, doesn't break the blink of the Darkseer though. Stun connects on Eternal Tokyo, but the silence is there. So no chance for a turnaround. They have great vision, but just no ability to fight at all. Roche is down, and Aster, they just got to get out.
This is really nice play by Spirit. The way that they kind of take areas, you can see that they don't chase the full way. They'll kind of poke a hero, force him backwards, and they get that little extra ground. Then they'll move forward a little more, maybe they'll D-ward, then they'll back up. And every time that Aster steps a little too far forward, they give a kill.
I feel like Collapse just feels very confident as well with this Chen behind him and having this BKB. Like, no, not really popping it too early or anything, not overextending for these kills, just following the game plan right now. And yeah, has looked quite superb on the Razor throughout this event.
It's really important with Chen that you kind of have the confidence of the healing. You have to trust that this guy's going to press all his spells, and that you have way more health than it looks like you have.
Yeah, if you don't present those situations, then Chen's just not going to be as good of a hero.
Yeah, same with like Dazzles. You have to always trust that these heroes are going to save you, and you have to play way more aggressive than you think you should.
So is this why Chen and Dazzle are bad in pubs? Are we figuring it out right now? Is this what we're getting?
Yeah, no, it's really hard to kind of change your mentality for these support heroes unless you play with them a lot.
Right.
So oftentimes you'll see teams that are kind of good with one of these healing supports will be good with all the healing supports, and they'll run them every game they get them, because they're going to be always good with them. And that the teams that don't really run these like Dazzles, Chens, Abba, you know, whatever, you're never going to watch their team bait as hard as the better teams with them would.
Well, there's a bit of an attempt for a flush out here. Oh, they missed. Nice
little
quick play from Bobica. Even going back to a ward now, but there's no additional catch.
They saw Muck up there, I guess, but now they find the Snapfire. Mira moving into position. Can't quite get the range, though. So they don't manage to connect. But honestly, you see the last couple of minutes, still an 8K gold lead for Team Spirit. They have really just ran away with this one, and now eyeing up potentially a tier 2 tower. If they want to, they can just go right here. Find themselves one, slowed down, good chunk of damage on the front, back to the wall, back on the 2 with the punch on the chin. But the mech is there, and the follow not quite in time. Mira dies. Illusions. Collapse has to back out, but the stun is there. It is time. They managed to get the control of the Collapse with the Wukong's command. It's more than enough. Punch finds Toronto Tokyo, and that was the perfect fight for Aster.
He didn't even use the illusions. He just left him there after they beat him to death with the support heroes.
Don't need them. That was really aggressive by Spirit. I think their team was farming bot.
Yeah.
At the time, he wasn't even close to mid. And generally, mid lane is the scariest lane versus these teamfight heroes. They have so much high grounds, tree lines, even a tower to TP2. Or buybacks. The Snapfire bought back in that last fight. And you generally kind of avoid that unless you're ready for this 5v5. And I don't think Spirit was ready for that response.
No, just a quick 3-hero vacuum. Starts off the fight in a good way. And Toronto Tokyo wasn't there right at the beginning either. So he didn't have a good chance to like try and counter-initiate with this Aghanim's rush build that he has. And, you know, likewise, we're talking about how, like, you know, if he catches the puck first, puck's just dead. But he still has that problem as well in the Void Spirit. Like, he's got the additional health from the Ags and the Ogre Axe, but there is damage on Aster.
And every time they step out, there's still a chance there. Even if you win a fight, it's not a free movement around the map there. Team Spirit still very capable of blowing up Aster.
feel like Ori is in such a scary position this game too. Gets spotted out by the waves here and jumps back, but any silence and could still go down.
He's going to buy this Kaya Sanj, which will give him a little breathing room. It'll give him some HP. He has the Essence Ring too. That's actually really important in this matchup.
Yeah.
It'll give him a lot of HP, and he'll actually survive all this burst from the Void. At the same time, the Void's going BKB, which will kind of counteract this coil response. So he'll be pretty hard to kill. Both of them are going to start getting harder to kill, and it'll more be the supports that are going to start taking.
Look at him using this.
Oh, he missed on one of his spells, and that means he went back for the kill on the creep. Toronto Tokyo there to punish, blinks away, and actually gets out.
That's a great deep ward there from Aster to like sort of like let him orb over there and try and play around this vision in the area and know how many heroes are coming to try and gank him as well. And then one mirroring on the other side too.
Yeah, the way Aster's playing the map is really nice. How they are kind of baiting this hero in the mid lane. It looks like
Toss back. XXS punches, tries to survive the Vanguard. It's not enough. Doesn't quite get it. His extra aura is making the difference.
maybe baiting's a little too strong term for that.
Yeah, you know,
they didn't get anything back for it, but at the same time, this Monkey King's actually getting on the map. The puck is getting on the map as well, pushing out lanes. They're going to be down in gold. This isn't going to fix their entire net worth deficit, but they're actually in the game because of it. They're not stuck in their base, and you have to be confident enough to actually push lanes out. If you're stuck in your base at any point, the game's never going to get better. You're never going to get that part of the game where you're like, oh, we can fight them, guys. We got these items. And at the same time, you can't always make excuses to not fight them. At some point, you have to feel strong enough to take the fight to the enemy. And I don't know when that is. It's probably maybe this puck, Kaya Sanj, he'll be strong enough to actually fight them. Or maybe it's always just going to be baiting them under this ward, getting this 3-man vacuum, getting this 4-man vacuum, and then just taking the fight off the spells.
Well, that is going to be the thing that they look for, but as Team Spirit has already kind of given up one of those, seems unlikely that it's going to happen that easily a second time, but who knows, maybe it will. Mira heads over to join up the rest of his team. The tier 2 tower going to be
smoke up here. They're going to be coming through some forward vision from Team Spirit as well. This could catch them off guard.
They know they're there.
Here's in a nice spot to break the smoke.
Collapse over on the high ground too, and Aster does the long wraparound. They pull back. TA toss her over to the range creep, which can't be used. Maybe now they can make orb with the lift. They find the Monkey King. Pull him over, brings him down. Monet needs to just take leg out. There's no way. There was no escape from that one. And with 2 dead, I mean, Team Spirit, they might just go for more.
He's got 161 damage.
Oh my god.
Yeah, really nice side blitz on the Monkey King who's TPing. He was gonna live, and the TA wasn't arranged to get a right click, so he just side blade off the creep wave that was right in front of him, and he actually died from it. And now there's probably a Rex. I don't see how Aster defends without 3 heroes. There's also a Chen.
Vacuum back onto 4. It's not enough though. And XXS now in trouble. A lot of illusions, but no help. Punches Toronto Tokyo. And is down. Actually, kind of burning through him a bit, and that's enough to force back Team Spirit. So the Darkseer comes in a little bit clutch there.
I'm surprised. I didn't see this Andis pick up. It's pretty interesting. This item usually gets picked up later in the game as more of a... You have all these items, all you have to do is get your spells off. Even if you get jumped, then it's fine. But it looks like he rushes it, and his goal is just going to be blink in, vacuum, and now he won't die, and he gets to blink in a second time for a punch.
This is one that we've seen a couple of times where you disassemble that Vanguard and just put it together. But does mean that you're also a little bit less tanky against all the right clicks coming through.
Vanguard starts losing value when they have a lot of minus armor from this TA or this Razor.
Yeah.
It's better when you have this high armor so the number values are low. So it ended up he would just take 100 damage a hit from the Chen. Okay. It's so much minus armor.
Yeah, it's a little unfortunate there.
But he'll live now for 2 seconds, 2.5 seconds, which is enough to get his spells off. That's the important thing. It's all about getting this wall and vacuum off.
Ward there for Ori gives him a good idea where they're moving that side of the map, so you can back out before they catch him.
I think at this point now it's really scary. Even Monet was originally trying to look for a Scotty, which is really good this game. It's good versus the Chen, good versus the TA, the Razor. He kind of changed it up. He went for Maelstrom. He thinks they need really high damage now to chew through all this healing, all the tankiness that Spirit has kind of built up. I'm just worried that it's not going to be enough.
It is a tough match right now, especially for Ori, because I feel like he has to get these good starts to fight. But, you know, maybe if they jump on Ori, they can get some sort of a save that'll line up for a good vacuum into a wall. But with the Orchid coming out on Yadro as well, just a lot of things that can catch and ruin Ori's game.
Only 75%. That's interesting. I was wondering how much you kind of felt like the game was out of the control of Aster, but you still think that there's timings that they can hit that things will work out for him somewhat?
The team, they still have really strong team fight.
Okay.
Spirit's team fight is more of like, we're going to run at you, we're going to click all our spells, and we're going to survive what you throw at us, and we'll still win the fight. Versus Aster, they just are kind of overwhelming damage.
Yeah.
And usually the survive works if you survive, right? But if they catch this Rubik or this Chen, I think at the start of the fight, that's how they win it. If the Chen ever dies first, Aster will have the damage to kill the rest of the team. But if they catch a core, and the Chen gets to press his spells for his core, that's the fights that Spirit wants. They want to get those heals off, they want to get the survivability, the tankability, and kind of just use their items, use these BKBs that they kind of built up, all this, the Vlads, the mech. All these net worth is just in surviving.
And they have tools that can sync pretty well together too on the side of Aster in terms of like AoE stuns to maybe set up for vacuums or then combo after a vacuum, like the Avalanche. We have the Shard on the Snapfire for the additional stun there as well. Plus the Wukong's command, a Boundless Strike. So sometimes the fight can get a little bit messy if those BKB timings go a little bit weird, but overall, fighting with 3 BKBs into the side of Aster, gotta imagine Team Spirit are feeling fairly confident.
The goal for Aster in these fights is pretty much either going to be kill the Chen instantly, or they're going to be trying to maybe use Coil just to force a BKB, get out of the fight, and then re-engage with the BKBs down. This BKBs, it's impossible. They can't fight during BKBs at all.
Well, what if Collapse has 2 of them?
It's true. Refresher coming out, but Scan also connects. Aster scout that they're all up in this area and look for a jump. They find one at the beginning. Toss back on Amira, not bad. As he will die, but the BKB Monet has to TP out as soon as the link is there. So Bobica will drop, and they also manage to find that Snapfire.
Backline, he got Orchid on the pop.
Yeah, good call back there as well.
I saw that.
3 heroes down. Good news, the Roche won't be spawning in this time frame, so there is a perhaps second hope here for Aster, but Team Spirit can be taking such a commanding control over this part of the map. That's going to be very difficult for Aster to smoke back out into this fight.
It's a really nice Orchid pickup by the TA. He's going to get the Mage Slayer too, which I kind of like as a component, so he'll get tanky versus all these spells that Aster has. But more importantly, they'll catch this puck. Pucks, a lot of the time, they don't buy any Purge, they don't buy a BKB, they don't buy Aeon Disc until they have to. They just buy Kaya Sange and they hook that with the HP they get, that they're not going to die. But he's playing for, what, 2 silences now, even 3 if the TA wants to get a Shard, which he might get from Roche. And it's going to start getting really hard. I think he might even need a BKB over this Aeon Disc just to play the game.
That's not what a puck player wants to hear.
Excellent.
Feels
puck
terrible.
players getting caught is not what puck players want to hear. They want to be the guy that's always in phase shift and orbing away.
Right. Well, they even have that Lotus Orb onto Darkseer, but in the midst of all the craziness of the fight, it's kind of impossible.
I think he's mostly going to use that on his Monkey King to kind of prevent this Razor from linking him. It'll give him, what, like 5 seconds in the fight where he actually gets to play his hero, and then after those 5 seconds, he's going to just run away and or TP away.
It just sounds terrible. These heroes is rough for him.
Razor's a strong hero right now, and if you see all these fights, the Monkey King gets these 3-4 seconds of BKB, and then he has to TP out. Because he's never going to survive getting linked and getting melded, getting Razor, Eye of the Storm. Just everything is minus armor.
Well, into the pit, and 5 heroes smoke up together with Aster. There's nobody blocking the way. This could work for him.
Darkseer's time.
Can they do it? Ori moves on in, scouts the Roche as well. Bobica, they find the silence right in the start on all 3 of them. Monet, he's linked up, he's in trouble. Gotta get the heck out of here. Aegis down, Yaro gets it. And this night could not have gone worse for Aster. Oh my god. And now they find the puck after the fact. Caught, phase shift, does he escape? No. Collapse right there on top.
That positioning was so nice. Oh, well, there, have one more there for you.
Damn.
Knocks him down. Yeah, the positioning from Team Spirit, they know how they can lose this fight, right? Everyone's like, Delta split, stay totally away from Giant Vacuum, don't everyone just stand in the pit, do something foolish. Like, we obviously have a big lead there. And then Toronto Tokyo just chasing XXS throughout that fight so you couldn't do anything.
It was looking a little scary. At one point, I saw the Chen looked like he was going to get caught. The Orb, I think, scouted him. But then Toronto Tokyo had a really nice initiation on the entire backline, canceled blinks, canceled every spell with silence, and I think the fight's just over once the Void Sphere gets a jump like that.
Yeah.
This game was really nicely played by him, the whole game. Even the laning stage, I think he played very nicely. They had good pressure on mid lane. He got caught out that one time, but besides that, he's played a really flawless game.
Yeah, as well as being enabled by these 2 supports on the Chen. I really feel like I can remember several moments throughout this entire game of the Team Spirit heroes where they looked like they just had the exact idea of how they wanted to play it, and they just got the job done. It feels like there was very little interruptions from Aster in this one.
The full lane of Rax is down now, and still Aster holding on to some kind of hope, hoping for a dive back behind the tower, what have you, but the game is feeling so hard for them right now. And Team Spirit looks like they're going to back out. A TP Rune spawns down bottom. We'll see if they try and make a second go of it here.
Well, you know, Darkseer, Tiny, Sapphire. There's quite a bit of respect on this high
There's
ground.
always a
That's
chance.
fair.
Team fights are high ground is scary still, and no matter the gold lead, you're always scared that you're gonna throw a game when you go high ground because you give them all the vision, you give them all the buybacks, you kind of are giving them the fight that they want, and you're just saying that you're stronger than them when you go high ground.
Yeah, and Icefrog's always out there dangling this little carrot too. He's like, yeah, you know, there's another Roach pretty soon. Or, oh, the next neutral items are coming up.
Yeah.
Why don't you wait for a power rune? You don't want to end the game yet.
Or it's like if one of you had a buyback to win the Roche fight, it's like, oh, you just want to wait these 8 minutes for buyback? It's a little safer.
Yeah, exactly.
It'll work out.
Don't worry, guys. It's all fine.
It's all a plan to lead you to the chaos of Tier 5 neutral items.
That's what we've been waiting for. Haven't really got to see too many of them so far.
And now you're going to just watch Team Spirit. They're pretty much just going to walk from this bot jungle to the tri-camp, and they're going to go backwards and forwards, and it's going to kind of force... Aster's going to get the wave, and they're going to be like, oh, they're bot. We can get this top lane now and get into the jungle. And then they're going to see Spirit walk towards them. They're going to walk in their base. They're going to try to get out bot through another wave. They're going to walk in their base. They're going to kind of do a U, going from top to bot through their base, and the gold lead is just going to go up like 1,000 a minute.
Oh, there's not a great feeling. A little toss back there, but a cookie. Keep him safe from Toronto, Tokyo.
I like the little bouncing back and forth. Not bad.
It's going to be about... they're going to not make a move, I think, until this Aegis is out. They might do a really aggressive smoke as the Aegis expires. Those always catch teams off guard, where you kind of start the fight as the Aegis is still on, and then maybe you just burst his TA. Because the TA is so much gold. He's worth a lot. And even if they force a buyback, which he doesn't have, but...
Oh, you think Toronto Tokyo hits this, though? Does he hit this silence?
Well, again, here I am. Does he see it, though? I don't know if that was scouted to vision. I think that they couldn't get him.
He's going to go cut the wave.
Yeah, they still just have a wave, so... Let's take this one and see what they're thinking. They scan just to make sure he's not nearby.
They have 90 seconds left on the Aegis, so they're probably just going to take this Rax for free. I mean, last time they pushed, the Darkseer ulted, so maybe he'll just press ult again, and they won't go.
Oh, Ori. He's thinking about it.
It's back behind. XXS is there. Yadro, Maposhka, they move on up. Gonna attempt some fake. Goes for the punch. Pushes him back in. Immediately lifted. Does have that Aeon disc, and well, the kisses being down makes that one a little bit tough for the old Aster team. They do have another run at this, but with no kisses. See how much more comfortable they are.
We need a big toss back lane here, Mobica.
And they find it.
Unfortunate for them, Tiny's their only here without buyback.
Right.
He's probably the one most scared to go on first. He's probably asking Darkseer, please go back to them. I'll stun after you.
Yeah, I promise.
Jumps in, finds the back line. Ori is there. And Monet, throw the tree, find the Monkey King, but won't quite connect there with the Remnant. So with no creeps, it takes a little bit longer to clean through these, but the wave is coming in, and this is going to be a second set of racks down, 33 minutes in. Team Spirit just dominant in this.
Really nice Aegis usage. The second Aegis is usually the one that you start wanting to go higher and get these actually bigger objectives, and so they use these 5 minutes. They got two sides. That's always a
Might
win.
get more. They're sticking around for longer, and I mean,
It's
it's
like 10 seconds.
a little bit bold. They get the punch. He's starting to drop down low. 9-8 seconds. They burn through it first, but can they get him a second time? That Flash just runs in, says no more of any of these shenanigans. Wall is down. He has to TP back to his fountain, as often has happened in this game. Monet has just not managed to play Monkey King, and with everything expended and all used to get the silence onto the Snapfire, Aster are going to go out with a whimper in this one. 30k gold lead, mega creeps down, and GG is called.
I like the way they stuck through it there on that push as well. They didn't panic and just be like, oh, okay, like the Aegis is about to expire. They get in there, they get to the high ground, push on through it. They felt forced on Aster because you can't just give up Megas trying to wait up for this Aegis to decline. So it was kind of the perfect moment to go from Spirit.
Well, yeah, sort of being willing to tempt fate a little bit. We talked about, you know, the Aegis expire.